Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Man, I'm sorry. It's Monday. I know what that means for most of us. But, it's another beautiful day for video gaming news and for us to get... I know, dude. I know. What's up, buddy? What's up, dude? For us to get some Disco Elysium in. So we will once again start grinding our way towards this coming weekend. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I don't know, man. It was a good one for me. I hope you guys had a great one. It was cool playing Vermintide 2. We'll probably keep messing around with that game a little bit on the weekend, unless we come up with something else that we want to play for community stuff or whatever. But it's been a cool little title. I think today is actually the last day that you can actually grab Vermintide 2 on Steam for free. Okay, so if you're interested in the game, even if it's not something you potentially want to play right now, but maybe something in the future, it is worth going and just grabbing for free. Add it to your library. It means you can play it for free forever if you grab it before the end of today. Okay, so go do that. Wick, what's up, my friend? Let's go ahead, jump into this video gaming news segment. Then we'll get going on our Disco Elysium Day 4 playthrough after we finish that. Cool? Let's go. Got that BPM music, by the way. Gift morning, dude. Gift morning. This is what we were listening to this morning. BPM soundtrack, OST, amazing music from an amazing game. Roguelite, rhythm-based FPS game. Very cool. Give it a shot. Very cool game right here. Bullets per minute, okay? Awesome soundtrack, too. So go give it a shot, all right? Cool. Indie developer. Awesome stuff. Go give it a look, all right? Grab this real quick. There we go. How'd the rest of your stream go, buddy? Gift morning works, too, dude. Dude, what are you playing Call of Duty on? Are you playing it on PC or are you playing it on console? Console? I have to say, like, while I was watching it last night, I was like, dude, this game does not look great. Just watching your stream last night and looking at the game, I was like, dude, this game does not look fantastic to me. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like the console version or what. And I've seen some amazing stuff that they did with like the campaign. There's some really realistic stuff they did with the campaign that looks really good. But I was watching the PvP stuff last night and I was like not all that impressed with the visuals of the game. That's like something that's a backseat for me usually anyways. It's more about gameplay and how that feels and if I'm having fun or not necessarily visuals, but for that caliber of a game, you know, I don't know. There was something about it that just was throwing me off a little bit, dude. I don't know. Maybe it was just, you know, on the older one, that might be it. Yeah, that might be it then. Okay. Bro, what did your high school buddy call me last night? I don't even know what that means, dude. Dude complaining about ads? Yo, Keith, what's up, my friend? How are you? Threw a gifty in there and then got called a name that I have no idea what it even means. Okay. All right. Weird, dude. Okay. That's a weird pivot there. Cool. That's a weird play on somebody gifting a sub out to somebody, man, instead of a thanks. You know what I mean? That's odd, man. That's odd. All I was doing was, you know, obviously supporting your stream and everything, but just complaining about ads. So I chunked one at him, and then I get called a simp. That's weird, dude. Uh, cool. All right. Word. um, Keith, what's up, my friend? Um, let's get into this new stuff. Let's see what we got. Yo, by the way, man, Wick, what's up with the speaking of athletics, dude, and sports? What's up with the Penguins, brother? Oh, for real? Well, I mean, that's not necessary. That's just that's a weird. That was just a weird deal for me. I don't know. Uh, yeah, what's going on, man? You think they're gonna pull out of it, man? You think they'll pull out of this little funk they're in to begin the season, or what? Yo, you were doing pretty good last night at Call of Duty stuff, though, man. I wasn't able to pay a whole lot of attention because I was doing some co-op gaming stuff with my son. Mm, mm. Oh no, I'm fine, dude. Like so, you know, you didn't need to like go back at him or anything. It was just a weird pivot. Usually, you know what I mean. Like the Twitch community is pretty cool, and if usually if you throw somebody a gifty or whatever, you know, they're like, oh my god, thanks, or they don't clap back at you with like an insult, you know. It's just that was a weird thing. I've never had that happen, dude. So I didn't know what that acronym meant, so I was curious. Gotten past the weird threshold. Yeah, that's usually the way it works for me too, man. With getting into a new game, you know. But yeah, you definitely seemed like you were picking it up last night, man, for sure. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah. So you're enjoying it quite a bit, then I would say. Yeah, you're having fun with it. You're gonna have to give me like a pros and cons of it here before too long. Once you get like a little bit more in, you know, more time into the game, you'll have to give me like a pros and cons. Too much quick scoping nonsense, really? Okay. I'll have to pay attention to that next time I'm able to hang out in your stream. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Yo, are you ever gonna build your new PC, dude? I don't even know if you saw my comment last night. You were talking about it. I was like, dude, by the time you build that thing, all the parts are gonna be obsolete, man. I know you've been busy. One sniper right now that I swear people are using like a shotgun. Oh, bro, that was how Shatterline felt too. That was how Shatterline felt. Oh, you did, yeah. That was how Shatterline felt, but not with like a shotgun. The Presarm was like a sniper, but it was like a real long range assault rifle, dude. Um, you basically just mowed people down with it. It was. You said shut up. Yeah, sorry. It was hard for me to pay attention the whole time last night. Yeah, dude, sorry. That's funny, dude. I'm sorry I missed your shut up. Yo, and Keith, what's up, my friend? How are you, dude? How are you? Happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday. Let's go ahead and get into this news. Let's get into this news, see what we can find, all right? Um, well, look, I'm not a fan of the Penguins, all right? But for your sake, buddy, I hope they turn it around. I know it's got to be a little bit brutal. They're on a pretty bad dive right now, if I remember correctly. Amazon's got a buy two get one free sale right now, guys. Target's doing this, so now Amazon's hopping on that bandwagon. There are going to be a lot of sales this month, so just be prepared. We'll talk about it. When's the next store opening up, dude? I don't remember if you told me if you knew exactly yet when your second store's opening yet. Yo, have you guys heard? 5 to 6 in a row, dude. I thought I read 7, dude. Yeah, I know. NFL news all over the place, Keith. I know, dude. Yeah, I know. Well, what happens is usually I go gaming news, and then we get through like 3 pages, and then I'll pivot over into a new search with video gaming news, and it'll get rid of a lot of the NFL stuff. But sometimes it'll catch some different actual video game stuff between each search. So, yeah, dude, Jets up 6-3 now. Yeah, 6-3. So, congrats, Keith. Jets are moving up, dude. Yeah, congrats, buddy. Yeah. Yep. It's one of those years, man, for the NFL where it feels like there's a change happening, man. Yeah, that's a big win too. That's a big win. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So congratulations to you guys, man. It's been a long time coming for Jets fans, man, waiting for something decent for that team to turn into, No doubt about it. So I bet all Jets fans are just elated right now, especially after that win over the Bills, dude. No doubt about it. Yep. Yeah, NFL. And this is funny because every time the NFL season comes up, this is what our first search, which is always gaming news. It just gets polluted with NFL stuff, Did you guys hear about all this? Now, I'm not going to dive into this, but did you hear how many layoffs there have been since Elon Musk took over Twitter? It's like half of their workforce, man. Like half of Twitter has been fired since Elon Musk took over. I even read something where it was like, and again, yo, gamer, oh, for real, Vikings are your team. Dude, I don't even know what the Vikings are sitting at right now. I can't remember. Are they? What's their record right now? Oh yeah. Oh, is that what was going on? So that's why you did it. Are they 7-1, dude? Wow, interesting. Have they had like a fairly tough schedule to begin the season, or has it been kind of soft? Or I guess the better question is, how does their schedule look for the last half of the season? You know what I mean? Interesting, Keith. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. This is what I did here, though. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Again, we won't dwell on this too long, but it's worth noting because, look, the video gaming industry is highly ingrained within Twitter, right? A lot of the video gaming industry uses Twitter for information feeds, announcements, things like that. So, to an extent, this is news for us, right? Because we are diving into video gaming news, and Twitter is a big part of that quite often. So one of the things that I thought was weird is, and I don't know how substantial this information is, but I had heard a report that a lot of the developers behind Twitter, like the coders, right, the people that actually work on the code behind Twitter, they as Elon was making these layoffs, a big part of this got based on how many lines of code their developers had written. Now, that's a very simplistic way to look at things because what you're potentially looking at is the difference between possibly, the difference between high-level coders that work on very, very difficult things that don't come up with a whole lot of lines of usable code because they're working on figuring out these really difficult things that might not require a whole lot of lines of code, where there are other people that have their names on a slew of more low-level things that are just always writing lines of code, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's really the way it went. That's some of the things that I had heard might have potentially gone down within these layoffs, which is a bit wild. Again, I don't know. I don't have any kind of substantial source of information. It's just some stuff that I read real quick on a site, and I was like, oh wow, if that's true, that's kind of wild. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Twitter, man. There are a lot of people that hate Elon, dude. There are a lot of people that hate Elon Musk, and I honestly don't know a whole lot about that individual, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Twitter moving forward for sure. New Stranger Things video game surprised released by Netflix. We'll take a look at that. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, specifically regarding StarCraft, right? So Phil Spencer, the CEO of Xbox, is very interested in classic RTS games, StarCraft, right? And we took a bit of a deep dive into it yesterday. So if you didn't get to catch that, check out yesterday's news segment. That would be November 11th or November 6th. Excuse me. Wow. I don't know where 11th was coming from, but November 6th, we talk about it more in depth in there, okay? Hmm. Uh, yeah, we've already talked about the PSVR 2 as well. I'm not going to dive into this. Oh, you get Friday off, gamer? Sick, dude. That's awesome, man. Yo, thanks for hopping in and playing with us this weekend, man. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, again, I mean, I think PlayStation is committed to this virtual reality stuff, you know, and I don't think that's a bad play. Virtual reality, while it hasn't been, in, you know, accepted and is incorporated in the gaming community as fast as I think a lot of people thought it would be, it is happening, and it's not just gaming. I mean, it's something that's being used in a lot of different applications for a lot of different industries around the world. But and I'm wondering where Xbox is sitting on this piece of technology for their own, you know, gaming hardware and stuff. You know, um, but what I will say is the thing that feels bad about PlayStation and their hardware, they had their first iteration of PSVR, their PlayStation first virtual reality headset, apparently was pretty good, and they had a number of different titles for it. But then you're talking about the PlayStation VR 2 coming out, costing more than the PlayStation 5 even cost, right? This hardware costs more than the actual console itself costs, and it won't even play any of the virtual reality games that were made for the first headset. You know, it's not backwards compatible. That feels so bad to me. When you're trying to get people on your platform to buy into this piece of hardware, you know, and you had an amount of people that bought in on the first generation, but then you're creating the next version of it, and then you're going, oh yeah, but you won't be able to play any of the PSVR 1 games on this piece of hardware. You're like, why though? You know, PlayStation just is not good about backwards compatibility. They're just not. And I'm not surprised about it, but it always is really weird to me that they're not helping people with that. And who knows? Maybe we'll see. An update come out later where the backwards compatibility becomes applicable with this hardware in the future. But right now, it's something that doesn't even look like it's on their radar. We've read about this, so I don't know. It feels weird, but we'll see. Wait, what? No way, dude. No way. All right. Looks like Battlefield 1 is like almost 90% off, and so the player base has just skyrocketed for the game. Is this actually new info, or is this still, because we hit on this past couple of days where Lionsgate is interested in a AAA John Wick game, right? Sounds like no development on a new John Wick game has started yet. Yeah, this is nothing new. This is still just Lionsgate basically making it known that they are looking for a developer to initiate a AAA game based on the John Wick franchise. Okay, so when we get something new on that front of an actual developer being on contract with Lionsgate to create and develop this John Wick game or series, we will dive into that. As of now, this is just Lionsgate basically throwing it out there to developers across the world like, hey, we want to have a John Wick game, a AAA John Wick game. And that is basically setting the table for developers to kind of approach Lionsgate with ideas and their own ideas as to what they could do for Lionsgate on this type of game to kind of court them, if you will, into collaborating on something moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now, there's nothing substantial there, though. Where's Byzantine at, dude? Look, this is not sports news, but Packers lose 5 straight for first time since what? Aaron Rodgers took over as their starter, probably. Byzantine's going to be upset, dude. Yeah, first year starter. Yeah. We just once Byzantine's here, we just won't talk about it. I'm gonna have to bring it up. It's a weird thing to see, dude. The Packers have been a long running winning franchise, man. I mean, we're talking like from the Brett Favre days, you know. I know it's not how you say his name, but wasn't that something about Mary? Brett Favre, and then Rodgers took over afterwards. Man, they've always had I mean, for the longest time now, they've had a really, really good franchise. Winning teams, man, and looking rough. Final Fantasy 16 link revealed. All right, let's take a look at that. We talked about this yesterday. Diablo 4 release date is potentially going to be around April of next year. Now, what we're actually kind of hearing is that a lot of people are under the impression we're going to get official showcase kind of stuff for Diablo in the winter games showcase, which is going to be in December, right? And then they'll probably announce the full release date of the game at that time as well. We kind of hit on this yesterday, but that's just what you need to know. They've already talked about how there are going to be multiple editions of the game. Some of which, if you buy in, you'll get early access to a beta that will run just before the game. Like, I think about a month before the game actually releases, things like that. So, we talked about it yesterday, more in depth. Look at yesterday's news segment if you're interested in a deeper look into that. But that's the TLDR right now on Diablo 4. Ooh, RE Village VR might come to PC. I don't see why it wouldn't. All right, let's go ahead and look at our other search here. Yep. We've already talked about that too. All the games that PlayStation, there's like roughly 15 to 20 games right now. Obviously, there's some like headliner games for the PlayStation VR 2. We're talking about like Horizon's got one. What were some of the other headlines? We'll take a quick peek at the headliner games. There are about 15, I think, games that have been announced for PlayStation VR 2 and a few headliners. We've talked about it before, but we'll take another peek since we've been on that topic this morning, okay? Hmm. Should you play God of War, 2018's God of War, before you play Ragnarok? That is worth taking a look at, I think. We took a look at this yesterday as well. And so, I mean, this is ultimately, their League of Legends new character is the first gay black game character they have come out with for their game. And unsurprisingly, they have censored this character's preferences and identity, things like that, in certain countries and regions. Uh, because of those specific regimes that don't allow that kind of thing, which is absurd in my opinion. Because ultimately, what does that do? It makes them more money, right? And that is unfortunate because instead of having a platform to take a stance and go, you know what, this is, we believe in people's rights to be who they are, love who they want, and be their true selves. And instead, they go, we'll censor this for you. We'll censor this for you. No worries. And it's about money. So, are we surprised that this happened? No, we took an in-depth look at it yesterday. And if you want more about it, you can go take a look at yesterday's news segment. But that's basically what's going down there. So it feels bad when Riot has such a big platform to kind of stand up against discrimination. And, these countries and regimes that try to discriminate and belittle people just based on their sexual preference and things like that, which is absurd. And instead, they decide to fall in line with what those countries want and censor this kind of thing. And that's unfortunate, in my opinion. But as we see so often in life, excuse me, money talks, huh? Money talks, baby. So it's a very greedy world. Yeah, I'm not going to dive into this article either, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to actually tell what all this is going to incorporate yet. But if you're not in the know, um, CDPR has announced that the original Witcher is being remade in Unreal Engine 5, which is really, really interesting. Uh, I think this is just a look at what they are potentially going to be able to do with the game. It's not worth really diving into because I think some of that's just going to be speculation. CDPR is very early. That just got announced. So as far as the development goes on the first Witcher game being remade, that is very, very early right now. And for anybody to try to say that they know exactly what's going to happen there, I don't. That's going to be a lot of speculation. I think we all know that the first Witcher game is iconic. It obviously you know set course for the series of Witcher games and the games that came after the first one because it was very well received and we will see changes to the original for the remake to make it more intuitive. Hopefully, anyways, it will be a much more visually appealing game than it ever was because it's being created in Unreal Engine 5. I'm guessing they will absolutely, overhaul the combat systems and things like that to make it more in line with modern technology and the things that we can do nowadays. So it will be a different game based on the fact that it's been just such a long time since that first one came out, and there's just so much more that can be done now. It will be the same game but different. We see that a lot with remakes in today's world, especially when games are to an extent fairly old, right? We're talking like 10 to 15 years ago. Games get remade now. They have a substantial changes that can be made. We're going to see the same thing with um, Dead Space remake. We've already seen a lot of the announcements about what's changing in the game. It'll be the same game, but it's going to be a lot different too. I think it's a fine line that developers have to walk in regards to not turning off too many players that are lovers of the old games while still bringing the games up to date with the modern world, the modern industry, and so far everything I've seen about what's changing with Dead Space remake looks very good and appropriate, and hopefully they'll do the same thing with The Witcher. We've talked about Stadia a lot. Again, if you're not familiar, Stadia is shutting down in January. January what? Like 18th or 19th, I think. Stadia is done. So Google's reimbursing people that have bought into their hardware, things like that. They're trying to find ways to collaborate with software developers, game developers to allow people on Stadia to transfer their save files over to other platforms, things like that. But Stadia is done, guys. If you had not heard. Project L, is this the League of Legends fighting game? We'll take a quick peek at that. We'll see. I think that's the League of Legends fighting game. Um, We talked about the new Overwatch tank coming out. We talked about it yesterday, so go look at yesterday's news segment if you want a dive into that news. Oh wow! Here's something fun. God of War Ragnarok reviewer has received death threats after giving the game a 6 out of 10. How absurd is that? This is absolutely absurd. We're going to read about this. Halo Infinite video introduces Battle Pass on March 7th. Excuse me. Take a look at that. Sims 4 is free to play now, if you didn't know that. I'm not going to dive into this article, but if you've been interested in trying out a more modern Sims game, Sims 4 is free to play. They are closed beta testing, I think, some new Sims type of game. Nobody's sure if it's actually part of what the Sims 5 is going to be or if it's some other spinoff. But Sims 4 is free right now if you want to try it out. Go grab it. It has now been made a free-to-play game. Let's stick with this. We'll stick with these articles, and then we'll get into Disco Elysium Day 4. Cool. Halo Infinite video introduces the Battle Pass on March 7th, 2016. What? A very insightful video. Halo Infinite put 343 Industries on the internet. The Battle Pass will now be available today for the winter update of the first-person shooter. Halo Infinite was released on December 8th of 2021 for Xbox One and Xbox Series X. What? I am so confused. Dude, I don't even know what to say. Maybe this will be better. That was a crap article right there. Holy moly, man. 343 Industries offers an in-depth preview of Halo Infinite's upcoming Battle Pass, planned to launch with the game's winter update. That's a little better. So 343 has released an in-depth preview of Halo Infinite's upcoming winter update Battle Pass. The winter update for Halo Infinite is substantial, but in many ways just a first step toward a bigger relaunch with Season 3 echoes within next year. The new Battle Pass for Halo Infinite will fittingly be free and is filled with nostalgic cosmetics that should especially please Halo Reach fans. 343 also touches on changes to progression, one of Halo Infinite players' key criticisms. Halo Infinite is currently in its second season, and with each season, 343 has introduced one of its unique styles of battle passes. The Season 2 Lone Wolves Battle Pass is like Halo Infinite's first Battle Pass, a mix of a free track and premium track that costs around $10 in in-game CR currency. Purchase grants access to 100 tiers of unlocks, 100 premium and 80 free, with rewards including pieces of armor, XP boosts, CR, nameplates, armor colors, and more cosmetics. The upcoming winter update Battle Pass is intended to bridge Season 2, Lone Wolves, and Season 3 echoes within. But in a non-abrasive way to bring back players. That's why the Battle Pass is not only free, it's also just 30 tiers long. That way, players can complete the Battle Pass with relative ease, acclimate to the new progression system, and earn a set of very cool rewards based around Halo Reach's Mark V Spartan armor. In a 12-minute preview, 343 details all of the rewards included in the new Battle Pass. The first tier of the Battle Pass unlocks the Mark V armor. By tier 10 players will have unlocked a chest armor accent, 2 shoulder pieces, a visor, and a leg armor accent. Even more alternative Mark V armor attachments will unlock as players progress to rank 30, with 343's take on Master Chief's Mark V helmet being the final unlock. Preview doesn't just delve into the Battle Pass's contents, though. It also details how progression changes after the winter update. As previously confirmed, Halo Infinite players will start earning match experience in the winter update. They'll also be receiving challenges that are mode agnostic, so they can be completed in whatever playlist the player chooses to play. 343 will also allow players to progress through the seasonal Battle Passes too. More rewards are coming in Halo Infinite following the winter update too. 343 teases the 2022 Winter Contingency event, which should be packed with holiday rewards, including some kind of hat that fits on top of a helmet. There are also plans to release the JFO class Mjolnir armor in 2023. Suffice to say, 343 wants Halo Infinite players to stick around and feel rewarded for it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. As most live service games do. All right. Well, let's take a quick peek. This is a long...
Hey everyone, it's Unishek here, and welcome to our Halo Infinite Winter Update Battle Pass preview video. Today I'm joined by Sean Barron.
That's enough. Get to the goods, buddy.
I know you're excited for that.
I love mission replay.
Yeah, You can go back, make sure you get all the collectibles that you might have missed on your initial playthrough. Then we also have new achievements for campaign.
Yep, a lot of those, lots of points. We got the Forge Beta. That's coming out. That's going to be huge. Forge Beta is going to be awesome. Like you're already seeing a lot of the content that people are making. Really, really fun there. There's a content browser that'll come with that for maps, modes, and prefabs.
Yes, yep. So you can easily find what people are making in Forge.
That's right.
We also have 2 new maps.
That's right.
Entirely made in Forge.
Yep,
Correct.
Detachment and Argyle.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are going to be really, really fun, and they show off what we can do with Forge.
Yeah, and then in addition, we have a new mode.
Yep.
Covert 1 flag.
Our first asymmetrical mode.
It is our first asymmetrical mode.
For Infinite.
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we have Match XP beta rolling out.
Yeah.
And we're going to touch on that a little bit later in the video too.
Yeah.
But that's super exciting and contributes to the Battle Pass that we're about to dive into.
Absolutely. And we also have a bunch of changes to the challenge system, which, those two go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and we actually just had a blog go out on Waypoint earlier
this
week
that
covers that.
Just kidding.
Additionally, we'll have local region
food.
matchmaking making its first
I need
appearance
food.
in Halo Infinite.
Yep, that'll be nice. And then we have some variety of sandbox tuning.
Nice. So lots of good stuff, but people are here mostly for the Battle Pass.
All right, let's take a look at this Battle Pass stuff, and we'll probably just
jump on in.
I'll link this so everybody else can watch the rest if they want.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, first we're looking at the Mark V.
Yeah.
The core.
Yeah, everybody's getting it.
Nice.
Everyone's getting it. And just to reinforce, this is a free battle pass. It's a 30 tier battle pass. It's free. We wanted to get this reach content to players, and we also wanted to be able to test Match XP as a progression system, because we're trying to tune it so that people can move faster through the battle passes, because we've been hearing from people that not only because of the challenge system, but just because of the way that they want to move through the battle pass, that it takes a little too long. So pairing that with the Match XP system, some of our challenge changes or updates, we want to make sure that people are moving through at the right pace, and we also want to say thank you to players. So we're really just wanting to make sure that this is available for everyone. So that's why it's free. So yeah, we start out with the Mark V, awesome here. We then go into level 2, which is
Brooch
this
emblem.
Yeah,
nice.
Brooch. Yeah, it's very, very nice.
And then a chest attachment there. Ooh.
Yeah. So this is going to look great.
Yeah.
Especially with some of our coatings.
Man, any of the reach armor.
Yeah, all the reach
Stuff,
armor is
stuff
really
on Mark V just looks so good. Oh, the big shoulders.
Yep,
Security
both
shoulders.
Of them, both of them. 1 and 2.
Looking good.
Looking very good. A little bit of scarring on that one. Okay. Obviously, we got a XP boost. We got
and XP boosts will apply to your match XP as well.
Yes. Yep, that's right. And then we have the Brooch vehicle emblem.
Yep. Sardonic.
Yeah, so
visor.
sardonic visor looks great. We got the this attachment right
Nice
here.
utility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that. Looks very sleek. It almost looks like the inner of the thighs, you know, but on the outside.
Oh
This
yeah,
extra-
yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Extra guard. Yeah.
Then we have I don't know if people are interested in this one. I don't know if people care.
This one, I know a lot of people love. A lot of big fans.
Hey,
of
just
CQB.
throw
I
like
used
a
to
plate
rock
on
it,
there.
Back in the early days of Halo 3,
It's just,
before I swapped over
just
to
put like
the
another
Rogue, but,
plate like
CQB
right on
is
the
a
outside of his thigh.
Fan favorite for
I
sure.
didn't realize you were.
I'm gonna be honest, it looks very
Back
basic
in Halo
to me,
3,
dude.
yeah.
I
I liked
know.
that helmet a lot.
Yeah, this
Like,
one is. I really
The
love
design there,
the
I mean, it
fidelity
seems
of
like they
these
could have done
Reach
something a little
armor
bit different.
pieces and
you
all
know?
these other armor pieces in Infinite. They just look fantastic.
Yeah, our team did a great job.
Another
Just put like
XP
another,
boost. We got
put a
our-
plate on top of that other
complete
plate.
The set, you know, you gotta get this weapon emblem
Sick.
here.
Some nice
knee
knee
pads.
pads.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
looking good.
Shoulders.
Yep.
Let's go. These are George's
Jesus,
shoulders.
dude.
Very, very good. Complete the George look.
I don't know, man. There's something about the bigger shoulders that really appeals to me, you know?
Yeah.
Big, broad,
Yeah.
Spartan
I mean, well,
shoulders.
it's George.
Yeah.
I wish we could get a mustache in here. Another XP boost.
Yeah.
This is the nameplate that goes with
Nameplate
it.
for it.
Yep.
And a good looking Spartan you can see a
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah.
preview of
Oh,
decked
yeah.
out
Oh,
with a
this
lot
is
of the stuff
spoiler
that you'll get
alert.
in the battle pass.
Can we put
Hey,
a spoiler,
spoiler
on there? Like, oh, sorry, that's like
Yeah.
good though.
Yeah.
That is real good. Okay. Then we
The
have a couple
CQC
more. Yep.
shoulders.
The CQC. Again, I know some people were interested in getting that. I think it was in our key
CQC
art.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both the shoulders and the helmet. That's about to
All
be
right, we're like
up there,
2/3 the way
at
through
World
this
Champions.
free
wanna see
battle
that?
pass
Oh, yeah.
now,
Oh,
okay?
yeah. I'm like waiting for you to get there because I'm so eager to see
Yeah,
it
this
too.
like
There we
this
go.
looks great. It really, really looks great. Throw your favorite visor on there. It's
I love
fantastic.
it. Yep. It's real nice.
Then we have another XP boost. Another great
Oh,
visor. This one's like got a
nice.
really nice blue
Yep,
tint
yep.
to it, so it's bluish green, really awesome. And then MOA Assault.
Yep. I've seen a lot of speculation in the community about how you get this, where you get it, and it is in the free
In the
30-tier
free
battle pass.
30-tier battle pass. That is correct.
Excellent.
Rare chest piece.
And then
This helmet attachment, very nice.
I'm a big fan of any and all helmet attachments
Yes.
personally.
Agreed.
Like being able to dress up, wear something fancy,
You're always fancy.
put like a feather in your hat type deal. Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah, Buddha, what's
Ooh,
up, dude?
Now we're getting to the big
Broad
stuff.
shoulders,
Yeah, here.
dude.
This
Yeah.
is,
I
you
mean,
saw a little preview of
this is
but
what
you're
I
gonna
like.
get it.
I'm
It's
kind of
glory.
thinking here,
Just
like,
treaty with
Big.
the kukris.
so
Yeah,
far,
right,
all I've
big
really
shoulder
seen was
pads,
like,
big knives, big toys. There you go.
they had some
both
cool
sides,
shoulder
you know.
pieces.
Can rock the
And they had
full-on
some,
triple
variety
knife
of, like,
setup if
helmets.
you want.
Knife setup. Your enemies will.
Which is weird because,
probably be
like,
very afraid of you.
most of the time when you see a
You can
game
do
like
Three knives,
this,
two
and
hands, you'll make it work somehow.
you're literally
You're
like
Spartan.
armored up in
Yeah.
an
Right,
entire
right.
suit of armor. There's so much variation you
extra.
can do with
And then we
like
ended up
different
with
kinds
the
of
Mark V helmet.
unique
Oof,
pieces
which is
to
great.
That's a
attach
good
on.
one to end on.
Whether it
Yeah,
be
it's a very
like
nice helmet.
you know, something on the back
does look
or
fantastic.
you know, the legs or
I'm very, very
the
excited about
torso or the head or
So
whatever.
CQC
Yep.
and
And
Mark
I'm
V
not
helmets.
seeing anything
awesome
significant
shoulders,
besides like
chest
shoulder
attachments,
variation.
armor
everywhere.
coatings.
So it's a
yeah.
little bit weird.
Lots
to
of
me.
good stuff in this.
I don't know. I think that's enough of that. That's the free battle pass. So I don't know. I'm not a Halo player either, so I don't know. Maybe people that actually play Halo Infinite will be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool stuff." For somebody that doesn't play Halo, I'm not like blown away by the stuff they're giving away there on the free battle pass. I don't know. But if you want to watch the rest of this, I'll link it here for you. Buddha, how are you today, man? Happy Monday. So there you go. I mean, I guess the big thing to take away here is that they're incorporating a battle pass system into Halo Infinite. It's coming with the winter update, and you know, I guess it's some cosmetics to change the way your character looks a little bit, with a big emphasis on like shoulder pieces and some different like visor styles and stuff for helmets. That's the big thing that I took away there. So there you go. There is apparently a premium side for like $10 that, you know, looks like they'll have some different stuff in as well. We didn't see any of that, but, you know, go take a look, I guess, if you're interested. Here we go. This is actually terrible. God of War Ragnarok reviewer has received death threats after giving the game a 6 out of 10. The IGN Korea contributor is calling for an end to harassment. God of War Ragnarok is already one of the greatest critical successes of the year, despite not even releasing to the public until this coming Wednesday, November 9th. Yet one reviewer who seems to disagree with a mass of other professional critics has offered a much more mediocre score to Santa Monica Studios' next big hit. He's paying the price for having an unpopular opinion in the form of online harassment and at least one death threat. Bae-Sang Hwan wrote the review for IGN Korea as what he described as a guest critic, in addition to being an indie game developer and film director. He gave the game a 6 out of 10 in his review, which by the site standards is listed as okay via Google Translate. His review calls Ragnarok a game that will lean on its predecessor and stops right in front of the door of misery. His review particularly criticized the boring nature of the parent-child relationships driving the story, and compares the overall feeling of Ragnarok to a DLC to 2018's God of War rather than a standalone game. As a result, the writer has taken to his Twitter account to defend both himself and his opinion. In one tweet, which we will not show here due to the content, Hyun shared an image of one message he received in which someone had insulted him for his writing skill, his physical appearance, and his nationality before issuing threats that he would beat your ass and humble you so good that you wouldn't even dare write this crap, and ending with a "I'm gonna kill you." Jesus, dude. Insane, right? Like, we're gonna have a discussion about this after I finish this article here, and I respect this individual's view and critique of this game. I respect it. I don't think that I would necessarily feel the same way, but I respect it, right? In response, Hyun posted in the comment section of a YouTube video from the channel OutsiderAntics, in which the host criticized PlayStation fanboys for their attacks on the journalist. His right there, exactly, Buddha fanboys. His response, fanboys or fangirls. Look, I mean, you know, it's that term is used to just generally stereotype people regardless of gender, but you know, I tend to just try to go with fans, fanboys or fangirls or fans of whatever, because of the age we live in nowadays, and how people are sensitive to that kind of talk. Like most reviewers across the web, our own Jeffrey David Brooks scored Ragnarok a perfect 10 out of 10. Which I also disagree with. Phantoms, there you go, dude. I'm going to get into depth here about my own personal opinion on the way ratings work, and how the game is a clear-cut contender for the Game of the Year, posting cumulative review scores just slightly under its toughest competitor, Elden Ring. Of the 124 reviews currently calculated by Metacritic, at which Ragnarok is holding consistently at a 94 out of 100, only 11 have scored the game at less than a 90 out of 100, with the current lowest score registered by the database being a 80 out of 100. Meanwhile, 45 recognized reviewers gave the game a perfect score, including IGN's main site and its affiliates in Japan, Brazil, Portugal, and the former Yugoslavia region. Despite the extreme outlier that is Hyun's score, every reviewer is entitled to their own opinion, and harassment and death threats against someone with a different opinion than your own is an infantile response that has no place in the gaming community or the world, dude. Okay? Thank you. Check it out. First of all, These people are insane. All right. If this is your mindset, if you feel like you are if you feel like it's your prerogative to go attack somebody, like you have the right to go attack somebody because they gave their own opinion on something like this, that is obviously going to be something that is just subjective and respective to each individual's experience of a game, you're insane. And this is unacceptable. We talk about this a lot. We've seen a lot of different things, whether it be social media attacks like we've seen here, or even to the extent of these individuals that I don't mind saying are out of their minds, showing up at development studios or even people's places of residence, right? They've gone as far as to dig into certain developers' private information, private lives, to find out where they live, and shown up at their doorsteps to threaten them. Absolutely insane. Over something like a video game. And dude, we're talking about an individual here that is very, very passionate about video games, but that is craziness. Craziness. And I'll tell you this, I was not a big fan of Elden Ring. I prefaced my kind of review of Elden Ring with letting everybody know that my own review of Elden Ring was not going to be very popular, right? Because of the fact that there are so many Soulsborne fanatics in the world, Soulsborne fanboys and fangirls out there that will overlook anything wrong with a From Software game, that my review was going to be unpopular, right? And I said that Elden Ring was good. It had some good content. The PC port was absolute trash. And there were things about the game that were not good. And to see people rating Elden Ring as a 10 out of 10 was absurd to me. They're using the same exact targeting system from Dark Souls 1. Trash. You couldn't interact with anything while you were in stealth mode, and they wanted stealth mode to be a big priority thing for people to start using in Elden Ring. How can you rate a game 10 out of 10 whenever you're crouched down in stealth mode, you can't interact with anything? You know, there are just things like that people like. They're like, oh, well, it's fine. It's a From Software game. Dude, that's crap. You know what I mean? And that's not fair for the industry, for people to just go rate games 10 out of 10. And look, I'm a big fan of God of War. 2018's God of War is in my top 5 favorite games of all time. I played it. I loved it. I had an amazing time with that game. And I can only assume, again, that if Ragnarok is on par with that, I'm going to absolutely love it. But at the same time, I absolutely respect somebody else's opinion on a game if they didn't necessarily enjoy it. You know, I've talked about this with other people in this community, specifically about 2018's God of War, where they said, you know what, I didn't really like it. And we've had a civil conversation about it and agreed to disagree. And that is absolutely okay. There are many games that we play in this community where other people have tried it out and gone, you know what, I didn't really see the pull. I didn't really see, this was why I didn't really enjoy it or whatever. And that is the way it should be. We should be able to talk about these things as mature individuals, speak about why we have differing opinions in a civil manner. And the fact that people think that it's okay to get to a point of threatening one another, discriminating against one another, is never acceptable in any form or fashion. You know what I mean? But especially for something like a game review, that is absurd. And this kind of crap has stuff. And we wonder why, developers are very hesitant anymore to have any kind of open lines of communication, right? It's because of the insane people out there that pull this kind of crap that make developers just want to shut down and not talk to us anymore. You know, it feels bad. So I feel bad for this individual. That sucks. I absolutely respect the review that they put out here. And I think that I would probably disagree with it because if the game is, you know, on par with the 2018s, I'm going to probably enjoy it quite a bit. But this is another thing I'll say. I think that in the review community, the people that get these chances to review games and just throw 10s out all the time, I am not a fan of that. I don't think that's appropriate. I've never ever played a game in my entire life that I did not find something that could not have been better. I have not. And I think that's insane. So for me, my own personal way to review games is like out of a 10 score, I'm going to go into a decimal point system. You know, if it's that good, I'm going to go 9.8 out of 10. You know, or if that's what it needs to be, we need to be on like a 100 scale or something. You know what I mean? Because I have yet, even in 2018's God of War, one of the things that I found very, very molding was that anytime you always get into these battles in these small areas, anytime Kratos' back got pushed up against the wall, you're in third-person view, right? That camera smashed right up into his back, and you couldn't see anything in front of you. Instead of the camera tilting up, and this is not just a God of War issue. This is a third-person view game issue. This happens in almost every third-person game you'll ever play, but it needs to change. If you get your back pushed up against an piece of environment, that camera smashes right into the back of that character, and you can't see crap in front of you. It should change to where that camera lifts up, tilts up, and gives you an angle up over the shoulder or the head of your character so you can see what's going on in front of you. And for God of War, it was pretty terrible. It happened a lot, and I hated it. It drove me crazy. So that was one of my big criticisms about that game. But outside of that, I didn't find a whole lot bad. I found a lot good about that game. But I don't know, man. This kind of stuff is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. For people to think that it is okay, for people to think that they have the right to attack people based on a game review is absolutely insane. It has to stop, man. All right, Project L roster. If you guys are not familiar, and if I'm remembering correctly, Project L is this fighting game that's been developed for League of Legends, right? Around the League of Legends universe. There's a leaked Project L roster going around. Take it with a heap of salt. We've actually seen some gameplay of the game, and it looks pretty impressive so far. There are rumors circulating of a Project L roster leak right now. The source, a League of Legends client survey revealed online by YouTuber Innovate Gaming, has many in the early Project L community excited for potential picks. However, it's worth taking the roster leak with some salt. Client survey recently shown off to the world by Innovate Gaming, but first rolled out back in June 2022, features a list of 22 League of Legends characters. For each character, the video shows the question, how would you describe your relationship with the champions below? Innovate Gaming also claims the survey asked about the characteristics of certain characters and what made them memorable. If it is a real client survey, it very much appears to be Project L related. There are several reasons why a portion of the early Project L community are convinced this features future characters. For one, each of the 6 characters we've already seen in Project L are present. Secondly, questions surrounding champion characteristics and memorable aspects line up with what the Project L team has established as a core character design goal, as seen in Aloy's concept blog post. These, in addition to the fact that we know that the Project L team are deep in champion development mode right now, appear to be enough to generate some hype around the list. However, it's worth keeping your composure and taking the information revealed in Innovate Gaming's client survey with a grain of salt. The The information is not a leak. It does not come from internal documents, the words of an employee, a hack, or accidental reveal. This comes from a survey, one that was sent out to League of Legends players to fill out, okay? If they were a betting person, they would expect several of the champions present in the survey to make it in, but not all. June, when the survey was allegedly filled out by Innovate Gaming, was just before we heard that Aloy's development was kicking off. Random mode time, guys. Let's go. Pair this with the fact that they were continuing their hiring spree back in July, and I reckon that by the time the survey was released, they were still fleshing out the final cast. If you haven't seen, let's go ahead and take a quick peek here. If you haven't seen what this is, nice, Buddha, nice. I thought I was going to show a video. I can just look it up on YouTube, I guess, but... That's fine. We'll look it up on YouTube real quick. So this is a little bit of just what Riot has pushed out so far regarding Project L, okay? Again, this is what they're developing as far as a fighting game based on the League of Legends universe, right?
Hey everyone, I'm Tom, executive producer at Project L. And I'm Tony, Project Project L will be an assist-based fighter. You'll build and pilot a team of 2 different champs. We feel like this is the right foundation to build a game that rewards strategic team building and on-the-fly decision-making on top of strong fighting fundamentals. Our goal is to build a game that delivers a fast-paced, dynamic combat fantasy while leaving plenty of room for you to be creative and express yourself in gameplay. Like a lot of you out there, we're inspired by the insane outplays, hard reads, and 200 IQ plays behind some of the most iconic moments in fighting game history. The dream for us is to deliver a game that allows...
Dude, that is quite the air juggle there. Jeez.
Years to come. Now let's talk about controls. I know that a lot
Holy
of you
crap.
have strong opinions about mechanical difficulty in fighting games. For Project L, we're embracing the easy-to-learn, hard-to-master mentality. So yes, we are making it easier to jump in with a new character and learn their basic kit. That said, we absolutely believe in rewarding the time you spend going deep on a character and providing opportunities for you to showcase your high-end mastery. One of the delights of fighting games is seeing top players move and fight in a way that's inspiring and distinct from lesser skilled players. We want to set that aspirational summit and build a steadily increasing difficulty curve to get you there. This isn't about building a game where new players...
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I just wanted to show it off. We've seen this video before. I just wanted to show everybody real quick because this didn't really show anything about the game. I wanted people to see, and this might have been the same video. I don't know. No, this was just like a new 2-minute video of something. But that's basically Project L there, okay? So if you want to watch the rest of it, there are videos there on YouTube. Go take a look. But that's basically what Project L is. So as they continue to move forward, I'm sure we'll find more information in our news segments about what the characters are going to be. Obviously, we've already seen some of them there in the video that they are incorporating into some of the gameplay for early development. It's probably a safe bet that those are going to continue to be characters that make the final cut of the game. But as far as who else is going to be character-wise part of the game moving forward, time will tell, and we'll see. Final Fantasy 16 length revealed. When Final Fantasy 16 releases on PS5 next year, the game should offer fans a significant amount of content. In a new interview with the Italian website Every Eye, director Hiroshi Takai revealed that the game's story will take about 35 to 40 hours to complete, but the extra content should take most players about 70 hours to finish. That's a pretty standard amount of content for an RPG, particularly for the Final Fantasy franchise. A translation for Takai's comments was provided by Atai Kimochi on Twitter and can be found in the tweet embedded below. While a game's length isn't important to everyone, video games do represent an investment to a lot of players. I think a game's length is important to a lot of people, especially depending on how much you pay for that game. But length, quality of length is a big thing for people. Not just length. Because if that's what you want, then you're setting yourself up for failure with repetitiveness. It's the quality of the length of gameplay, right? You want a game to feel fresh and fun all the way through, not like you're just doing the same thing over and over. Yeah, Buddha, let's talk about that. So, that's becoming the norm, right? We've talked about that a lot here lately. We talk about the gaming greed a lot. Gaming industry greed. And you know, whether you talk about, dude, $70 is becoming the norm for game releases. It is here. $70. Right? So whether you talk about the fact that games are now switching over from being $60 to $70, or you talk about the fact that you're going to pay $70 for a game on release now, and then 2 months later you're going to pay, you know, half of that for DLC that you know is already developed and ready to go when the game released, or the fact that most of these games are also going to come out with some kind of transaction shop within. It's the industry has gotten very, very greedy. And to an extent, people are going to talk about, you know, inflation being a part of it, and I understand that, and I also understand it's a business to an extent. But look, the gaming industry is making a lot of money, and there's a lot that happens that is quite obviously not needed in regards to the monetization that goes along with a lot of these games that get released. And all it does is creates a barrier for people to be able to fully enjoy a game, or even to be able to experience it in the first place. And for me, that just feels bad all the way around, because I want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy this world of gaming that I love so very much. And the more that greed takes over, and the more that monetization, you know, is incorporated into these games we play and create barriers for people, the less people are able to get into this world, you know? No, for sure. I agree, dude. I agree for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's tough is that a lot of people don't really look at the industry like that, you know. And for me, I'm very passionate about the industry as a whole. I love video games, but I'm passionate about the industry as well. And so whenever I mean, that's why I do the news segment. I talk about these kinds of things, and there are a lot of people that don't necessarily care. They just play games because they enjoy games, and I respect that. But to an extent, there is a lot of that mindset is exacerbating an issue, it's allowing companies to get away with doing this kind of thing. And I agree. I understand. It's a business. Game development isn't necessarily always cheap. But, we see a lot of, I will say that quite often it feels like the really bad monetization stuff, the greedy stuff that's happening is coming from AAA developers, right? We're talking about developers that have virtually endless resources at their disposal to create these kinds of games. Quite often they come out feeling kind of subpar. As opposed to indie developers that are running on budgets quite often and have very limited resources as far as the manning to get their projects completed, but their products come out feeling much more polished, a more enjoyable experience quite often, and don't cost nearly as much all the way around, for people to play. And so I think that when you take a look at the industry that way, it's kind of very apparent. And these indie devs are still making a lot of money. It's very apparent that these big companies are incorporating a high level of greed into their mechanics, right, of game development and the industry as a whole. Which is why we're so very lucky that we have so many great indie developers that are kind of creating a great foundation for what the gaming industry has going on. But I think ultimately, if anything was going to change for these, especially AAA developers that keep pumping out subpar games, it's going to take people not buying in. And ultimately, that's just not realistic. For instance, the last Battlefield game was absolute trash, right? I didn't even need to play it. I don't think most people needed to play it. It was widely known that game was just a big piece of crap, right? Coming out from EA. And I'm willing to bet you that the next one they make, it'll do very well on release because it's got that name. And people will just go buy it because they don't want to take a critical look at what the history of the game is, what it did last time, anything like that. Most people are just going to go buy it because of that name. And it just feeds the beast, man. It just feeds that terrible monster of EA that. So most people don't look at it the same way that the few in the gaming community do. And until there is some way to get a united front for gamers as a whole, and I just don't think it's really a viable thing. I don't think it's realistic because of what games are, and a lot of people don't want to care. Gaming's a release. Gaming's a way to escape reality and immerse yourself in something different. And a lot of people don't want to worry about it. They just want to play and they just want to experience something different and fun. So in regard to that, I don't think there's a whole lot for us to, I guess, be hopeful for on the front of trying to stand up against these big juggernauts in the industry, the gaming industry, that are just about greed and not caring about content or quality and just leaning on these title names, unfortunately. So with most PlayStation 5 games now retailing for $70, many users are going to be more careful about how they spend that kind of money. There are plenty of great games that feature less than 10 hours of gameplay, but that kind of length won't appeal to everyone. When developers are upfront early on about a game's length, it makes it easier for players to decide if they should purchase it on day one or hold off for an eventual price drop. Of course, RPG aficionados have always preferred lengthier campaigns. Again, but it feels bad when you're just playing a game that feels very repetitive. That sucks. That doesn't feel good. Final Fantasy 16 is set to release in mid-2023, so fans won't have to wait too much longer to see if Takai's estimate is an accurate one. Every player spends their time differently when gaming, so it can sometimes be difficult to accurately gauge how quickly the average player will wrap up. Hopefully, the next entry in the Final Fantasy franchise will offer quality content that keeps players engaged, no matter how long it takes them to get to the finish. Final Fantasy 16 is set to release in 2023 again, yes, exclusively on PS5. In the meantime, readers can check out all of our previous coverage of the game right here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I mean, I would prompt people to be, have more of that mindset, you know, I mean, for sure. I think anybody is susceptible to that, you know, buying into the hype here and there. But a lot of us have been duped over the years, right? A lot of us have been made to feel like our money has kind of been stolen from us. Whenever a game is set to release, it's been hyped up, it's looked very good, and then you buy it for full price, and it's an actual turd. You know, the game is just a big fat piece of crap. And yeah, so I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, Buddha. I'm hesitant anymore. But I'll tell you here recently, man, I was hyped up about Scorn, and I honestly figured, you know, indie developer game that had been in development for 8 years. I bought into the hype, and I'm a sucker for the Geiger artwork. I love art, dude, and so I'm a sucker for the Geiger-esque kind of art that they were incorporating. Dude, that game was super underwhelming. And we're talking, what was it, like 35 to 40 bucks I spent on that game and got less than 10 hours of gameplay in it. And it was dumb. The game was dumb. I literally said at the end, I was like, this didn't even need to be a video game. It could have just been like some kind of virtual walkthrough experience to get a look at the art of the game, you know, the environment. The game was stupid. It wasn't scary at all. The art was well done. That was it. That's all the game was. So I got baited, man. You know, and that wasn't even a AAA title. You know, so it does have. It's not like AAA developers are the only ones that pull this kind of thing. It definitely happens all the way around the industry. But I do feel like it's a much more prominent, prevalent thing that happens from big developers, AAA, AA developers, than it is from like smaller indie developers, you know. But I'm in the same boat as you, man. I mean, I've been duped so many times, and quite often, man. I feel like I would rather wait and see what a game's going to be like than play it whenever it releases. Now, what I'll say is that the fact that now I am streaming and this is my full-time gig, I feel like it's my responsibility to an extent to play games before you guys do. Let you know what my opinion is, you know, and whether you take that opinion to heart or not, that's up to you. All I can do is give you a real concise, critical breakdown of what my experience is. And I always try to do my best at giving pros and cons on all the games I play and everything, but to an extent, I almost feel like that's my duty to help other people out, right? Play a game on release here and there, let you know what I feel about it, let you watch the game while I play it so you can get a good assessment and judgment on whether or not you feel like it's worth your money, you know? So before I was streaming, I was definitely in the same shoes as you, man. I was always waiting and going, and quite often that's what I did. I would watch other streamers. I would watch streamers play the game and be like, get their assessment on it, and see if I felt like it was worth the money or not, you know? So, I don't know, man. Yeah. Like we were just talking about Atomic Heart yesterday. Atomic Heart's finally going to release here before long. What they give February of 2023 release date now, I think. That's a game that's been delayed multiple times. And the video we saw yesterday looked very good. It was gameplay. It was of a boss fight. We watched like 5 minutes of it. It looks good. But, dude, that game's been hyped up for a long time. And it's had multiple delays now. And so that's what I was talking about yesterday. It scares me. Atomic Heart is a game that looks really neat. And I'm hoping it's really good. But it scares the crap out of me that a game has been hyped up that much and has been delayed a couple of times, you know? And I think a lot of people tend to be in the same boat as me on that front. Whenever, you know, games get hyped up like that and then you get multiple delays coming in, and it's like, what's going on, man? What's wrong? You know? You'd rather just kind of chill back and wait and see what's going on with the title before buying into it. So, Resident Evil Village VR might come to PC. A data miner found clues suggesting a Steam and Oculus release has been considered. Back in June, Sony announced that the RE series highlight mashup reel RE Village was going to get a PSVR 2 release, complete with 4K eye tracking, 3D audio, and all the other fanciness, that a modern VR version brings. Much as we'd like one of the best horror games on PC to get the same treatment on our platform of choice, given that Resident Evil 7's VR release has yet to make the jump, it seemed unlikely. Till now, Redditor Lithbeep has data mined a hint that Village VR might make it to PC after all. In the game's executable, they found references to PSVR, followed by OpenVR, Oculus Touch, Oculus VR, and Oculus Remote, as well as the string auto-launch Steam VR on button press. Check it out. We read the other day, at this point, at least of the last quarter, and this is something that has been trending increasingly for Capcom. Capcom is now at the point where their software sales are half made up by PC. So their game sales, their gaming software sales are now at a point where I think it's like 52% of their sales are coming from PC software, PC gaming. So you take into consideration that the other like 48% of that is actually spread across mostly the primary consoles, right? We're talking like Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. Then chunk those down. PlayStation or PC is actually contributing for over half of their software sales, which means this is not a big surprise knowing that now that Capcom is really going to be probably trying to get as much of their software onto PC as possible, knowing that over half of their sales are coming from the PC side of gaming. They also point out that on October 28th, Capcom updated Resident Evil Village's Steam store tags to add one for VR. While store tags can be added by Steam users, publishers can also add or remove tags themselves. Doing so is an important bit of marketing, as these tags determine whether a game will show up in the More Like This section, as well as whether it will be highlighted in Recommended For You boxes, theme cells, and so on. However, to pour a little cold water of skepticism on the rumored fire before it gets fully burning, it's worth noting that Capcom also added the VR tag to Resident Evil 7 in June of 2017, and we are still waiting for that to amount to anything. What's more, looking over its history on Steam database shows the VR tag was first added to Village in May of 2021 before being removed and then added again multiple times alongside various other tags of dubious relevance like hentai and dating sim. Presumably there's logic behind this constant tinkering with tags. Maybe the mysterious Steam algorithm likes it. A lot of what goes on behind the scenes with Steam's store pages is as much superstition as anything, Yeah. This is kind of, a bit of... Until an official announcement is made, we'll have to make do with the mod that adds VR support to RE Village. Sorry, guys. Dude, I was waking up all night long last night. I don't know why. That's not normally me, man. When I sleep, dude. But, I was waking up all night last night. So we'll see. This paragraph right here makes me believe that this is maybe them just messing around with stuff or hoping to eventually get it on there as VR, but we'll see. So, Resident Sleeper, bruh. What's up, dude? How are you, man? Happy Monday. I hope, anyways. PlayStation VR 2. Every game Sony has announced so far. I'm just gonna really quick take a look at this. Right. This is kind of, we got some headliners here. We already knew about games like Horizon, Call of the Mountain, RE Village, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. These are kind of like the headliners for PSVR 2. They've got like 15 in total, so like roughly 11 other titles coming. Dark Pictures Switchback, Sierra Squad, Light Brigade, Cities VR. That could be really cool. That could be cool. Cosmonius High, Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, Pistol Whip VR, Zenith The Last City, After the Fall, Tentacular. Those are the titles coming to PSVR 2, okay? I'm not going to watch all of this. We've talked about these before, but I just wanted to hit on it again real quick because we were kind of talking about PSVR 2 again this morning. So I will throw this in chat if you guys are interested in watching some of those trailers. If you have interest in getting into PSVR 2, then these are the games that are going to initially be a part of that release and available for that hardware, okay? Games Inbox, God of War Ragnarok, before the 2018 reboot. Oh, yeah. This is why we pulled this up. They're talking about whether or not you should play God of War, 2018's God of War before you play Ragnarok, okay? Let's take a quick peek at what they're saying. So here's a question. I'm curious to see how God of Ragnarok has turned out, but I haven't played the last one or indeed any of them. It looks like my sort of thing, though, and if it's roughly in the Sony formula, I can't see how I can go wrong, except this is part two of a story, so I'm worried that I won't understand what's going on. I do actually know a bit of Nordic mythology. I expect everyone does nowadays, so I imagine I can keep up as long as they don't veer too far away from the source material. This is the problem nowadays, though. Spending $70 on a game that might not actually be a good idea is not exactly an impulse purchase. I've had a bit of a windfall recently, though, and I thought I'd treat myself. GC. You should be all right, actually. All you need to know is that Kratos used to be an evil god, but at the start of the new game, he's a stay-at-home dad. There's a brief recap video in the game. I was hoping they would do this, but we're sure the internet can help you catch up if you have any specific questions. Except for the one about where all the ordinary mortals are. We still don't understand that one. Yeah, so that's what you would hope from games like this. Dead Space did it very well. Dead Space had a recap video that you could play every time you started the game up to kind of show off what had happened in the previous iteration or the previous game of Dead Space, you know? And that's very good. That's the way these games should go. So there you go. If you haven't played God of War, the first God of War, if you haven't watched it be played, you're not sure exactly what the story is, you should be okay playing Ragnarok if you're interested, okay? Amazon holds a buy two, get one free sale for select video games, okay? Target's doing this right now. Amazon's doing it right now. Understand, there are a lot of sales coming at the end of the month. I keep talking about this, but if you're in the market right now for some new software, you need some new games to play, maybe this would be a time to grab some stuff on Amazon, okay? As of the writing of this article, there are currently over 200 qualifying items for this sale. All players have to do is select 3 of the items that are part of this sale, add them to their cart. Afterward, the cheapest game for every 3 games from the sale is free upon checkout. Okay? There's Harvestella, Elden Ring, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, Far Cry 6, Man-Eater, Hades, Lost Judgment, new Tales from the Borderlands Deluxe Edition, Five Nights at Freddy's, and many, many more. They're talking there's like over 200 qualifying games for this sale, okay? No end date list for the sale. However, it is likely that it will run until at least November 12th, all right? So I will link this in chat. If you guys are interested, go take a look. It's maybe worth it. Look, a lot of retailers are trying to get some like kind of entry-level baseline sales going on right now. November has turned into like this month-long kind of festival of sales, if you will. It used to be like a specific day after, at the end of the month, and then it turned into like a weekend-long kind of thing, and then it turned into a week-long. Now it's like a month-long, But there will be some significant sales towards the end of the month. So, do what you will with it. New Stranger Things video game surprise released by Netflix. Black Friday month, Booty. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. That's basically what it's turned into, It was like Black Friday. Then it was like, Black Friday turned into Black Friday weekend. And then, Cyber Monday got attached to it. So it was like Black Friday went all the way through the weekend and then into Cyber Monday. And then it turned into like a whole week-long thing from like Thanksgiving all the way through like the next Thursday. You know what I mean? And then now it's just like the entire month is just like a sale, Today is Stranger Things Day, and Netflix has been dropping, this was yesterday, Netflix has been dropping a number of different announcements to celebrate. The latest is Stranger Things Puzzle Tales, a new game that's available exclusively to all Netflix subscribers. As its name implies, Stranger Things Puzzle Tales mixes puzzle action with the Stranger Things property. Netflix describes the game as a match-3 puzzle RPG in which players must recruit characters from the show as they face off against villains like the Demogorgon, the Mind Flayer, and more. The game's graphics are also meant to invoke the style of a Saturday morning cartoon. It's available right now. It can be found on the App Store and on Google Play Store. No in-app purchases. This is a big deal for Netflix and most of their games, if not all of them. There's no like ads, no in-game purchases, anything like that. Especially if you're on Netflix's platform to play their games, okay? The game's App Store description says that players will have the ability to unlock dozens of different versions of your favorite characters as they have grown and evolved through the seasons. While that makes it sound like the game will recap the events from the series as a whole, the description also states that the game contains new exclusive Stranger Things storylines. Players will also be able to level up their characters with new powers and abilities. The game is developed by Next Games, one of Netflix's wholly owned video game studios. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're really they're trying very hard. They've still got like roughly 15 games that they've promised to be released on their platform by the end of the year. So we'll see what else comes. They're trying very hard. This is the first year they're trying to pivot into video games. It's not easy. They've had some significant titles that they've added in. Oxenfree. They've got Oxenfree on there. What was the one we were talking about the other day, dude? I can't even remember. Oh, dude, why am I blanking the name of that game? Poof. They had some significant games be added in. And aside from the ones they're developing themselves. So we'll see how it goes for Netflix moving forward into next year, Into the Breach. Into the Breach they have on Netflix as well, So they've got some very notable titles on that platform. It's just going to take time to find out whether Netflix is going to be able to sustain with this pivot into gaming. All right, this is the last article I have, guys. If you have anything to add, let me know. We'll talk about it before we move on to day 4 of Disco Elysium. All right, huge sell sends 6-year-old Battlefield 1's player count into the stratosphere. The 88% off sale is giving a surprise shot in the arm to the World War I shooter. 6-year-old Battlefield 1 is having a mini renaissance on Steam right now, bringing to the top-selling games list and peaking at nearly 51,000 players today following 3 prior days of big player counts. That 51,000 is nearly 10 times bigger than the 24-hour peak of the much more recently released Battlefield 2042. This data comes courtesy of inimitable stats tracking site Steam database. If you're wondering why are gamers flocking back to the Great War, look no further than Battlefield 1's current 88% off sale, reducing it to a measly almost $5 US. It's not players in the US or Europe that are driving the spike either. These big player numbers are concentrated between 1,200 and 1,400 UTC peak gaming hours of between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. in East Asian time zones like China Standard Time. The big boom of an arguably out-of-date entry to the series is a bit of an awkward look after all the hoopla surrounding Battlefield 2042's changes to the series formula. But in all likelihood, this is a passing fad born on the back of a great deal. 2042 was all of a sudden selling for peanuts too. You best believe there'd be an influx of players sampling a game that we actually quite enjoyed. Battlefield 2042 is the latest one, right? Wasn't that the crap show, dude? Isn't that what we were just talking about? First released in 2016, but added to Steam in 2020, Battlefield 1 took the series back to the First World War with an anthology campaign that focused on a broad spectrum of pretty neat, underexplored settings. PC Gamer UK editor-in-chief Phil Savage gave it an 89% back at release. It's got a fair bit of that much vaunted historical accuracy everyone's always banging on about. A professional historian we showed it to didn't hate it. Battlefield 2042 has been much more controversial among series fans for changing some fundamentals of how it plays, such as its overhaul of the class system. Nonetheless, EA hasn't given up on it yet. Totally. It does offer some unique delights like the Battlefield Portal mode, which allows for exceptional user creativity. It almost feels like they're kissing up to EA a little bit. Almost everything else I've ever read about the new Battlefield, which is Battlefield 2042, I've read about how absolutely terrible it is. So I don't know. PC Gamer might have some kind of thing going on here with EA. I don't know, dude. You know, I'm always a bit skeptical about stuff like that too. Like, how much of a it kind of like inside collaboration do some of these sites and businesses have with developers in order to try to boost some ratings for their game, put out some good vibes for their games and stuff like that. I don't know. Again, each individual person's experience of a game is going to differ a little bit. Some people are going to like a game that other people feel is not all that great, but consensus, usually you can get a pretty good tell of what a game's experience is going to be. And overall, about everything I've heard about the newest Battlefield 2042 is that it was pretty not good. So I don't know, but this is for Battlefield 1. It's only less than $5 right now, so if you've been wanting to give it a shot, it might be the time to do it. Yeah, that's what I've got, guys. That's what I've got. Good news segment, as always. Appreciate everybody that was a part of it and everybody that's always a part of this community. You guys rock. I appreciate you very much. It's so wild to me, man, all the stuff we constantly hear about, people thinking that it's just okay to go attack other people verbally or just show up at their place of work or business because they have some kind of personal, they've gotten into this personal thought process of having some kind of vendetta against a person or developer for quite often things that are just absolutely asinine, like a review that they don't agree with. That's crazy to me. That's just insane. That's insane stuff, man. But I don't know, man. It's the world we live in. There's a lot of craziness, and I would just say that remain vigilant. Stay on your toes, people. You guys rock. I appreciate you. We're going to move on to some gaming content. That'll be day 4 of Disco Elysium, man. We're going to go have some fun in the disco, So this game's fun. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to keep pushing. We didn't play it all weekend because we got into some Vermintide 2 stuff. Let me say this. If today is the last day to go grab Vermintide 2. So on Steam right now, Vermintide 2 is free, but today is the last day it's free. So if you're interested in playing the game, at some point, even if it's not right now, you should go grab it. Today's the last day, so go get it, okay? Yo, Busy King, what's up, man? Hey, buddy. Cool. Oh, unacceptable, bro. Unacceptable. Well, I hope that the office work goes good. I have not tried Grounded yet, Buddha, but I've heard good things. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Yeah. We might have to try it out at some point in the future, yeah. Have you played it? Busy King, thanks, buddy. You rock, man. I'm sorry you have to be in the office, man. Yeah. Yeah. Hope your weekend went well, dude. Thanks for stopping by. All of you guys are amazing. We're going to move on to our gaming stuff. If anybody is viewing this content as a VOD, either here on Twitch or on YouTube later on, and you're enjoying it, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and the rest of these amazing individuals that are part of this community whenever we go live every single day at 6 a.m. CST, and we start all of our streams off with video gaming news before we jump into whatever gaming content we have slated for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, everybody just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, and we'll catch everybody tomorrow for November 8th's edition of Video Gaming News and Day 5 of Disco Elysium. Cool?